Hello, everybody. My name is Sebastian Rodriguez, and I'm a Microsoft 365 consultant. I have been working with Copilot for over a year now, supporting organizations, helping deployments, creating solutions with Copilot. But this is the first time that I have access to the Copilot Admin Center because everywhere I have used Copilot, I have only been a user. So right now, I'm logged into the tenant that I have access to. I'm already in the admin center. So I'm going to go to the left side. I'm going to open the burger menu, and you will see that just under the home, you have the Copilot icon. All right. So I'm going to touch here. And the information that you are going to see here on the screen is split into three sections. All right. You have the overview, you have discover, and you have settings. So, how does this work? First of all, under overview, you have the adoption report by app. Okay. This means your enabled users. This is everyone who has a license and your active users. Anyone who, under the last 30 days, has used at least one feature in any of the products. If you want to see the details on those metrics, you can click here in See Metric Definitions, and this is going to give you the same explanation. In this case, we have a very low adoption rate, mainly because this is a new tenant we're only using for testing purposes, right? So, here, you can go to learn more in usage, and this is going to open the reports section where you will be able to see the information of the people in your organization. All right, you have readiness and you have usage. So, here, as you can see, I have my enable users, I have my active users, I have my active user rate, which is 0%, and I can select this drop down and I can change between 7, 30, 90, or 180 days. Also, if you're licensed for Microsoft Teams, in this case, this tenant doesn't have the Teams licensing, but if you have Teams, you can go to the Copilot dashboard, which is inside Viva Insights for Microsoft Teams. So you have to have access to Teams in order to consume that feature. That is going to give you the same usage reports, so you will be able to see that from that place as well. Now, here you can see the summary and the trend. Again, my enabled users and my active users. And if I go to the trend, I can click any app, or I can select here and filter, for example, only by Excel, only by business chat, only by Outlook, and so on. In case your organization is licensed for Viva Insights Premium, or if your organization has more than 50 Copilot licenses, you have access to advanced analytics. So, for example, if you were selecting Teams, not only you will have Teams, but you will have the options to understand if they're using Teams inside meetings, inside business chat, if they're using it inside the option to use Teams as a compose option for the messages, etc. Here you will also be able to export this information and view your users. By default, the information is anonymized. Nonetheless, you can switch this to disable it and get the full users if you want. This is reading information from Microsoft Graph, so you can always query this information via PowerShell or via other tool if you want to interact with this in any other capacity. So, what do you have here? As I said, you have the username, the display name, you have the last activity date, and you will have the last activity date for any of the different options or different metrics that are being tracked. So, this is going to track the last time that this user used business chat for work, the last time they used it in Teams Copilot, in Word Copilot, in Excel Copilot, PowerPoint Copilot, Outlook Copilot, OneNote Copilot, and Loop Copilot. Okay, what else do we have here? We also have these two boxes on the right side of the screen, where first we have the option to promote using Microsoft 365 Copilot. This uses the new organizational message feature that was launched November 19, 2024. So if you select here, schedule a message, you will have the option to select any of these three templates, and this message is going to be distributed to the organization, including Windows 10 and Windows 11 devices. If you want the capability of editing these messages, you need to have E3 or E5 licensing. And if you want the capability of receiving custom messages, you will also need an E3 or E5 license. Doesn't matter if it's a Windows, if it's an Office, or if it's a Microsoft 365 license, as long as you have E3 or E5, you will be able to use this. Here, you will see a preview of how this message is going to look. Your recipients, you can have your start and end date, and you can also select the frequency. In addition to this, you also have another option to send a message for encouraging the use of Copilot within Teams. Same thing here. I can select there. I can have this message. And in this case, I'm going to notify the people via Teams so they start using Copilot instead of via Windows. Same controls, recipient list, start date, end date, and the frequency. Okay, nothing to see here, so let me close. If we keep scrolling down, you will have the option of managing licenses, which is not something we're going to click right now. And you have access to different resources, which we are going to check at the end. You will have on this right side of the screen the message center link, and this is where you will see all the messages that are related to Copilot. So if there's any new feature that is coming, any change, or basically anything that should be on your radar, you will see it here. If I go back to the top and I click Discover now, I will have the option of going to Copilot Lab, which is a cool website where Microsoft is collecting multiple prompts by application, by use scenario, etc. So you can navigate here. You can, for example, select one of the products, let's say Excel, and this is going to, sorry, you're going to be able to here select all the prompts. And here is where you can filter by application, by task, job type, by Copilot agent, etc. You can select one of these and you can try this in the application that this prompt is designed for. Now let me go back. We also have links to access Copilot on the web and the option to download the application on your phone. Remember that you can use it if you download the application. There's no restriction on that. You will see also the link to the readiness guide, and this is very powerful because here, if you click go to the Microsoft 365 Copilot setup guide, this is going to take you to a guide. This is not a full project management service or something like that, okay? This is just a simple checklist that is designed to help you to prepare for Copilot. If you are eligible for Fast Track with 100 or 150 licenses or more, you can get this service provided by Microsoft for free. But if you click continue here, you will have all the steps, right? add or sync your users, the readiness report to make sure that you comply with all the prerequisites, the prerequisites per service, so for M365 apps, for OneDrive, for Outlook, Teams, Loop, etc. And if you click any of these items, you will have the information here. All right. As I said, this is just to make sure that you have done or not done something, nothing else. And if you click share through email, this is going to send an email basically explaining what is expected for this person to do. All right. This is designed for you to have all your due diligence in your organization so you can review controls, set up policies, governance, etc. That way you can have a useful system, and also you make sure you're not exposing information that shouldn't be exposed. So then we click next. We have data protection. Again, here you have a lot of information. For example, the Microsoft 365 maturity model, there's not a lot here, but if you click here, you will go to this section which explains this in full detail. So this is for you to prepare your conversation with your stakeholders, your CEO, your CISO, your CTO, and other VIP users. So same thing here, you can go through each of these. For example, here where we are setting the appropriate controls for OneDrive and SharePoint, since in this case we're basically touching an M365 setting, here we have the option of playing around with these controls and making this more or less restrictive depending on what we're looking at. All right, I'm going to cancel here and let's go back. What else do we have? Let's go to settings. And in settings, we are going to, as the name implies, find the general settings for Copilot. So you can interact with any of these elements, for example, here, and I can enable or disable the self-service option for people in my organization to purchase Copilot using their own payment method, right? If I wanted, for example, Copilot in Edge, this is going to take me straight to the settings for Microsoft Edge, which is going to take me to the configuration profiles. And this is where I'm going to set up all of these policies and settings. The whole philosophy behind managing Copilot is that if there is already a policy or a setting that is controlling that aspect, the idea is that Copilot uh, honors and respect that option. Only when there's no equivalent, that's when they are going to create something new. Okay, so if you have anything set up properly for retention policies, for auto tagging and things like that, Copilot is going to honor all of those. And if we return to the overview, here in the resources, you have a couple of good, interesting starting points. So you have Copilot Lab, which is something we just saw a couple of minutes ago, where you have all your prompts to better use Copilot. Here you will have a lot of documentation for IT admins. So this is a lot of technical documentation, how to govern the tool, firewall rules, how does it work with Graph, for example, those kind of things. Then you have the commitment to responsible AI. This is where you will have all the information related to how to use AI, how Microsoft is adding safe guidelines and safeguards as well to their AI services to make sure that this is not used improperly. There are things that, even if the technology is able to do it, since it's not ethical, you are not going to able to run those prompts. And here's where you will find all the information about your data never being used to train the models, Microsoft not seeing your information, and the full commitment to privacy. If you go to the Adoption Hub, this is going to give you advanced resources for you to plan your Copilot adoption journey. All right. So here you will have use scenarios, you will have documentation, you will have templates, you will have mailing lists, you will have a lot of different things that you can use. So if you have a team that can be dedicated to this whole adoption process, or if you are the team who is dedicated to this, getting started with adoption.microsoft.com and searching for Copilot here is going to be a great starting point. All right. So whatever option you choose here is going to take you to that specific section. Now let's go back. And the last two options are the Microsoft 365 Copilot Roadmap. This is public information, and this is everything that is officially coming to Microsoft Copilot, all right? If it's here, it's official. If you're looking for any sort of official information as to what do I need to do to prepare, how is this going to impact me, what are the things that are going to change, what is the rollout, etc., this is the place. So let's select, for example, I don't know, just this option, right? And here is where you can see all the details, the ID associated, the products that are impact, etc. Of course, here you can filter. So if I select Microsoft Copilot, now I can see everything that is specific to M365 Copilot. And last but not least, connect Copilot to your favorite tools. And this is going to take you to the integrated apps because there's a lot of third-party developers who have already integrated Copilot into their services. All right. If you're already using applications from third parties, look out for updated connectors or new services from them that interact with Copilot. And if your organization has created a solution, this is where you can also find it as part of the marketplace. Now, that's it for now. If you have any questions or any comments, leave them below. I'm looking forward to hear from you. And in future videos, we are going to explore other areas of Copilot for Microsoft 365. Thank you and have a great time. Take care. Bye bye.